Other thing that we're looking for. If you look up to your left, just a hair, do you guys see that big pile of sticks?
Yeah.
That's an eagle's nest.
Wow, it's huge.
So they are really big, and we have so many eagles around here that there's probably about one of these for every mile of the shoreline. So it is something to look for as we go along.
Oh.
Now, it's the time of year where the chicks are hatching in the nest. So you might even spot an adult sitting up in there. You'll see white feathers sticking out of the top. And they'll start off with sometimes up to 3 chicks in there that'll all hatch, although oftentimes the chicks go after each other. So the one who's born first has a leg up on everybody else. So I've got 2 older sisters. They beat me up when I was little too. So. Yeah.
How long ago was the DDT problem that was killing the eagles?
I believe that was in the 60s.
Yeah.
And before that, there was actually a bounty on bald eagles around here too, because they were supposedly eating too many of the salmon. They figured out that that was not an issue though, and also it's right when Alaska became a state, and they're like, well, we probably shouldn't be killing this bird that's everywhere.
Yeah.
So the bounty went away, I want to say in like 53 or something like that. Yeah, and since then the population has boomed.
Yeah.
They got taken off the endangered species list, and there's thousands of them around here. They're like pigeons. Fun. All right, if you guys want, you can stand up to get a good look at these guys here. They're all just kind of sprawled out on this rock that's exposed for the low or as the tide is dropping right now. So,
How big is the tide?
the tide can change up to 25 feet. That can is the operative word.
Right.
Yeah.
Today it's going to change about 8 feet.
Okay.
So we're in between the new and the full moon right now. That's why the change is so much smaller.
Yeah.
Hi,
I believe
babies.
Low was at 8 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
He's moving.
Yeah, he is moving. He's saying, you're bugging me.
Hi.
Yeah. You have a much higher tide.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful.
We're more like a Canadian mountain goat. The goats hang out with
Smart goats. It is.
to ourselves. Now, just to give you guys an idea of what the weather is supposed to be like around here, or is usually like, this is the only time we're ever out of the wind on a trip. So it's usually a really bouncy ride. This is quite the treat for all of us, I think. Now, I know a lot of us have been really curious about the tide so far. The tide is dropping right now, so luckily we do get to see all this stuff that's living along the rocks. I'm sure you guys have noticed the bathtub ring going around the entire fjord right now. Jen will get you guys really close, so if you guys again want to stand up to get a really good look at it, you're welcome to while we're here. She's never going to floor the boat on you while you're all standing. We'll make sure. All these black shells that you're seeing though, these are all mussels. They're called blue bay mussels, or some folks just call them the Pacific mussel. Now, you don't want to eat these, as good as shellfish can be. When we get a red tide around here, which is just an algae bloom, a little organism ends up living inside the mussel that causes paralytic shellfish poisoning. Sounds pretty sinister.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is. If you eat a few of them, your lips will tingle or your mouth will go numb. If you eat enough of them, they will kill you. So they stop your heart from beating.
Wow.
Birds seem to be okay with eating them. They don't seem to be affected. So ducks will rip them off the rocks, and then they'll stuff a couple hundred into their stomach all at once, actually. I had to read that one a couple of times. And Jen and I have experienced crows ripping them off the rocks, and then they drop them on sidewalks or on rooftops to break them apart. So if you guys see shells all the way up at like 10th Street or something today, that's what's going on
Oh,
there.
wow.
It's not some weird inland mussel. There's a lot of barnacles along here as well. That's that kind of whitish, crusty layer that's up above the mussels. Jen and I find barnacles really, really interesting. I know not everyone agrees with us, though. What I really love about them is that they're like trees. They never move, but they can do everything. They eat, they reproduce, they manage to live in one spot for their whole life. That's an adult conversation that we can get into if you guys want to. I'll leave it at that. I guess the last thing on the rock to cover is all the seaweed that's stuck to there. That stuff is called bladder wrack. The bladders refer to these little sacks that are at the end. When you step on them on the beach, it sounds like bubble wrap. So it's just fun to walk on, but that's how the plant reproduces. You could eat it. I've seen it rot and it gets really, really foul, so I don't eat it. I use it for gardening though. It's a good compost material. It helps really get things rolling. Now in the sunlight up here, we've got this big green leaf that looks like a maple leaf. Do you guys see that one? Does anyone know what that is? No?
No.
It's okay if you don't. It's
No.
called Devil's Club.
Oh.
You would remember it if you'd had a run-in with it. My friend calls it the Alaska cactus because the stalk, the stem, and even the underside of the leaf are covered in spines. Spines are different than thorns because they're barbed like a fish hook. You need tweezers to get them out of your skin. I've heard some sick folks refer to that as the wiper's nightmare too.
Oh.
Yeah, you make that mistake.
Oh.
Once.
Oh. Yeah.
And it only happened once.
My husband's cousin was in Alaska.
Oh,
You can see he's not too concerned with you guys. For one, you all just look like big salmon. Also, they don't really have any predators. Since that bounty went away, there's nothing that can go after them.
Nice big dog.
Just hang
Goes with these to cut down the trees up top and just send them down the waterfall. It doesn't happen anymore for a couple of reasons. I can get into that if you guys are curious, but more important, this is a good time to play that game of musical chairs. So if you guys do want to switch up your seats, it's a good time to stand up, stretch our legs. And also, I can take some photos for you guys if you want, like big group photos or anything. You need evidence for any outfits. If you guys go inside,
You want to go up front a little further?
Sure. Yeah.
one up here?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it all four of you or?
2.
Okay. I mean, you can make me.
How do you want to sit there?
No, not yet. I'm gonna go like a driving bus.
Wow. This is amazing.
My team, there's a big commercial, and so the fishermen put out big nets to catch the salmon around here, and these seals all just sit there and wait. When they see the salmon get caught, they still rip them out of the nets.
Oh, gosh.
And if you listen to the marine radio, which we always have one on in the back, there's some colorful language sometimes regarding the local wildlife. But I think they're cute. Some of it I've learned since I've been up there. Yeah. You like to get the first look at it. It's a common, it's like name for tour guides around here. I technically have a degree in anthropology.